I'm Samantha Wilson, 32 years old, and I never thought my brother's wedding would become the most humiliating day of my life. It started like any other joyful occasion. There were flowers, music, laughter, and people dressed in their best clothes. But behind all the smiles was a storm I didn't see coming. My brother Jeffrey and I were always close. Growing up in a quiet suburb outside Boston, we were more than siblings, we were best friends. We shared secrets, built blanket forts, and created a world only we understood. When I fell from the treehouse and broke my arm at 10, Jeffrey carried me all the way home on his back. That's the kind of bond we had. Our parents, Harold and Diana, were proud of Jeffrey. He was the golden boy, smart, athletic, and always achieving something. I was the creative one, an artist at heart, never quite shining as bright in their eyes. Still, Jeffrey always had my back. He supported my dreams, told me my designs were brilliant, and helped me through the hardest parts of my life, especially when my ex-husband Walter left me. I was 7 months pregnant with our son Noah when Walter walked out saying he wasn't ready to be a father. I was heartbroken, alone, scared, but Jeffrey stepped up like a true hero. He moved me into a small apartment, built Noah's crib, and even took turns staying up during those endless sleepless nights. He rocked my baby while whispering, "We're a team, Sammy. Always have been." Those words stayed with me. Years passed, and I built a life for Noah and myself. I started my own interior design business and slowly found success. Our cozy apartment had a tiny garden, and Noah, now 8, grew sunflowers taller than himself. Our life wasn't fancy, but it was filled with love and hard work. Just me and my boy. That was enough. Then came Vanessa. Jeffrey brought her to a family dinner one Sunday evening. She was beautiful, tall, blonde, with perfect nails and a confident smile that lit up the room. My parents were instantly taken by her. She spoke about luxury vacations, charity events, and high-end restaurants. Her parents ran a successful real estate company. She worked in marketing. At first, I wanted to like her. Truly, I did. But I noticed something right away. Her smile changed when she spoke to me. With my parents, she was warm and charming. With me, polite but distant. When I mentioned my design business, she smiled and said, "Interior design must be such a fun little hobby. It's nice you can do that while raising Noah." I brushed it off, trying to stay positive, but the judgment was there, quiet, sharp, like a paper cut you don't feel until later. At another family dinner, Noah, with his innocent heart, gave Vanessa a handmade card. "Welcome to our family," he'd written in big, uneven letters. She took it with 2 fingers, barely glancing at it, and set it aside without a word. I saw Noah's face fall. My heart broke. When I mentioned this to Jeffrey, hoping he'd understand, he just said, "You're being too sensitive, Sam. Vanessa's trying. She comes from a different world." Yes, she did. A world where kindness was filtered through status, where single moms were pitied, not respected. Still, I tried. I invited Vanessa to lunch. She always had an excuse. She never made time, but she made time to whisper in my ear one day, "Your son seems a bit undisciplined. Children need firm boundaries," as if I hadn't sacrificed everything to raise him well. Despite these red flags, Jeffrey fell deeper in love. He proposed after 6 months. My parents were thrilled. Vanessa had money, status, and charm. What else could they want? Me, I just felt like I was disappearing. They planned a big wedding at an exclusive cathedral downtown. Vanessa's parents paid for everything. She hired a wedding planner who barely acknowledged me when I offered help. I suggested budget-friendly options for the flowers. She smiled and said, "We're not on a budget." Traditionally, siblings were part of the wedding party, but this time, Vanessa had other plans. Jeffrey told me awkwardly, "She thinks it would be better if you focused on helping with Noah that day. The bridesmaids are her sorority sisters, and it would be uneven to have you up there too." I nodded, smiled, pretended it didn't sting like betrayal. Noah, sweet boy that he is, didn't know any of this. He kept making drawings for Vanessa. "I think she'll like this one," he said, coloring her in a long princess dress, but she never appreciated his efforts. One time I saw her toss his framed drawing in the trash after the rehearsal dinner. I retrieved it, hid it, didn't tell Noah. Part of me wanted to skip the wedding entirely, but I couldn't do that to Jeffrey or to Noah. I told myself it was just one day. I'd wear my best smile and hold my head high. The morning of the wedding, I helped Noah into his tiny suit. I'd rented a limo because there was no parking near the venue, and I wanted him to feel special. He asked, "Do you think Aunt Vanessa will like my new drawing?" I kissed his forehead and said, "She'll love it, baby," even though I knew the truth. And so we drove into the city, me in my forest green dress, altered by hand, earrings gifted by my brother, and Noah beside me, clutching the last drawing he'd ever make for the woman who would soon break his heart too. What happened at that wedding, no one could have predicted, and what my 8-year-old son did next, it changed everything. The limo pulled up to St. Catherine's Cathedral just as the final floral arrangements were being finished. The morning sun bounced off the stained glass windows, making everything look magical from the outside. But inside me, something felt off. Noah jumped out of the car, his little face glowing with excitement. He held the drawing tightly in his small hands, ready to gift it to Vanessa. Should I give it to her now or later, Mommy? He asked. Maybe after the ceremony, sweetheart, I replied, adjusting his clip-on tie. Let her enjoy the moment first. I took a deep breath and stepped into the grand cathedral. The air was filled with the scent of fresh roses and polished wood. Every detail was picture perfect. Vanessa had spared no expense from gold-trimmed programs to imported orchids along the aisle. Everything screamed elegance, except for the way I felt like an outsider. Guests filled the pews quickly. People were laughing, hugging, whispering compliments about the bride's family. I took my seat on the groom's side, 2 rows behind where our parents sat. Noah sat next to me, swinging his legs, carefully keeping the drawing flat on his lap. Then the music began. Everyone turned their heads as Vanessa entered the cathedral. She looked flawless in a long white gown with lace sleeves and a train that trailed behind her like a royal cape. People gasped. Phones came out for pictures. My mother clutched her chest in admiration. Jeffrey's eyes watered as he saw his bride walk down the aisle. For a second, even I couldn't help but think, she really does look stunning, but a pretty dress doesn't hide a cold heart. The ceremony itself was beautiful. The priest spoke about love, respect, and commitment. Jeffrey smiled gently as he repeated his vows. Vanessa repeated hers smoothly, perfectly, without a single tear or tremble. She looked more like someone rehearsing a play than promising her heart. I looked down at Noah, who whispered, "She looks like a real queen." I didn't know what to say. I just smiled and squeezed his hand. When the couple kissed and were announced as husband and wife, the entire cathedral erupted in applause. Noah clapped with both hands, his smile wide and genuine, and then it was time for the reception. The ballroom was even more extravagant than the church. Chandeliers sparkled above, and every table was decorated with tall glass vases filled with floating candles and white lilies. There was a string quartet in one corner, and waiters carrying trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres. As we entered, Diana waved at us. "Samantha, come take photos with the family." I smiled, hopeful that maybe things were turning around. But when we got closer, Vanessa stepped between us. "Oh, actually," she said sweetly, "we're doing just immediate wedding party for now, but there's a photo booth for guests." I felt heat rush to my cheeks. I nodded slowly, and turned away before Noah could see the tears in my eyes. He tugged on my sleeve. "Can I give her my picture now?" I hesitated. "Maybe wait until things quiet down, baby. She's busy greeting people." But Noah wasn't convinced. He stared up at Vanessa, then looked at me. "I worked hard on it," he said. "It has all of us in it. Even you, Mommy." That was enough to break me. "Okay," I said gently. "Go ahead, just be polite." Noah walked toward Vanessa, holding his drawing proudly. I stayed back, watching from a distance, my stomach tight with nerves. He tapped her gently. "Aunt Vanessa," he said softly. She turned and looked down, clearly surprised to see him there alone. "Yes, I made this for you," he said. "It's us, a family." He handed her the drawing. She took it, glanced at it briefly, and smiled in that fake way adults sometimes do when they don't know how to handle kids. "Oh, how cute," she said. "Thank you, Noah." But instead of showing it around or thanking him properly, she folded it in half and slipped it behind the cake table. Out of sight, Noah turned around slowly and came back to me. His shoulders drooped just a little. He didn't cry, but he didn't smile either. "She didn't even look at it properly," he whispered. I knelt down, kissed his forehead, and said, "That's okay. Some people don't know how to appreciate something made with love, but I do, and I think it's beautiful." I was proud of how he held his head high, but inside I was furious. Dinner was served, and speeches began. First the best man, then Vanessa's father, then Diana, who gave a long speech praising Vanessa's beauty, grace, and perfect manners. My name wasn't mentioned once. When it was time for the maid of honor's toast, Vanessa's sorority sister made a joke about how Vanessa always got what she wanted. Laughter echoed through the room. Then came the moment that changed everything. The DJ announced a special message from the bride and groom for their guests. A large screen lit up behind the stage. A video montage started playing. Baby pictures of Jeffrey, childhood memories, college parties, romantic moments between him and Vanessa. Noah watched quietly, then turned to me and whispered, "Why aren't there any pictures of me and Uncle Jeffrey? Or you?" I didn't have an answer, but the universe did, because just as the video was ending, the screen flickered, and another image popped up, clearly not part of the slideshow. It was a scanned image of a letter, and it had Vanessa's name on it. Confused murmurs rose across the room. The letter was addressed to someone named Allison, dated just 6 months earlier. It read, "Allison, I know I promised I'd leave him after the holidays, but things have changed. He just proposed, and honestly, his family's wealth is more than I expected. I'll keep pretending for now. After the wedding we'll figure things out. Yours, V." The room went silent. Gasps filled the air.
Someone turned off the screen, but it was too late. The damage was done. People turned to look at Vanessa. Her face had gone pale. Jeffrey looked confused. My mother looked horrified. And in the corner of the room, Noah tugged on my sleeve and whispered, "That's the paper I saw in her bag last week, Mommy. The one with the secret." For a few long seconds, no one moved. The ballroom was frozen in time. The music had stopped. The lights dimmed, and all eyes were on Vanessa. Her perfect smile was gone. Her flawless makeup couldn't hide the panic in her eyes. Jeffrey slowly turned toward her, confusion written all over his face. "What was that?" he asked, voice low but sharp. Vanessa opened her mouth, but no words came out. Diana stood beside them, stunned. Her wine glass tilted slightly in her hand, drops slipping down the stem. The room, once filled with laughter and champagne, had turned cold. And then the whispers started. "Did you see that letter? Who's Allison? She planned this the whole time?" I grabbed Noah's hand and pulled him close. He looked up at me, his eyes wide and worried. "Mommy, did I do something wrong?" "No, sweetheart," I whispered, stroking his hair. "You did something very, very right. Because now, it was time for the truth to come out." Vanessa tried to regain control. "That letter was nothing," she said quickly, forcing a smile. "It's fake. Probably someone's idea of a cruel joke, but no one was buying it." Jeffrey took a step back from her. "That was your handwriting," he said. "I know your handwriting, Vanessa." "I didn't mean it," she blurted. "I wrote it before we got serious. It was a mistake, just words. I never sent it." "But you wrote it," he said, his voice cracking. A few of Vanessa's sorority friends were already standing up, awkwardly backing away toward the exit.
Vanessa's mother looked like she might faint. Her father was fuming, jaw clenched tight. Then, suddenly, Diana turned to me. "Did you do this?" she demanded. "Did you put that letter in the slideshow to embarrass her?" I blinked, stunned. "What? No! Why would I? It's just too convenient," she hissed. "You've hated her from the start." "Mom," Jeffrey cut in. "Stop. This isn't about Sam." "But, no," he said firmly. "This is between me and Vanessa." He turned back to his bride. "Did you cheat on me?" She didn't answer. That was answer enough. After a tense silence, Jeffrey walked off the stage and disappeared through the ballroom doors. Vanessa followed him, heels clicking loudly on the marble floor. People slowly began to gather their things. The band packed up their instruments. Waiters stood awkwardly by the buffet. The wedding was over. I knelt down and looked into Noah's face. "Did you see that letter before?" He nodded. "I saw it in her purse last week. She was yelling on the phone in the hallway. When she went to the kitchen, I looked. It was sticking out of her bag. It had her name on it, so I read it." I paused, surprised. "You read the whole thing?" "Yeah, I thought it was a secret, but it looked bad, so I took a picture." He pulled my phone out of my purse. In the photo album was a clear snapshot of the letter. "Noah," I said softly, "how did it end up in the slideshow?" "I don't know," he shrugged. "I asked Uncle Jeffrey's assistant if I could give Vanessa a picture surprise on the screen. I thought I'd give her the drawing, but the phone was open and the letter was there too." I realized what had happened. The assistant must have thought the image Noah selected was part of the bride's message. An innocent child trying to surprise his new aunt had accidentally revealed her deepest secret and saved his uncle's future in the process. Later that evening, after most guests had left and the ballroom was nearly empty, Jeffrey returned. His tie was loose, his eyes red. He walked straight to us. He knelt in front of Noah and pulled him into a hug. "Thank you, buddy," he said softly. "You saved me." Noah hugged him back tightly. "You're still my best uncle." Jeffrey smiled weakly. "Always will be." Then he stood and looked at me. "I should have listened to you." I shrugged. "You were in love." "No," he said. "I was in a dream, and you tried to wake me up, but I wouldn't listen." There was a long pause between us. Then he said, "You always had my back, even when I didn't deserve it." "We're a team," I replied. "Always have been." He smiled through the pain, and I could see the old Jeffrey again. That night, I drove Noah home in silence. He fell asleep in the back seat, clutching his little jacket like a blanket. The stars were out. The moon hung low, golden and full. I looked at him through the rearview mirror. This little boy with a heart, big enough to tell the truth when grown-ups couldn't, brave enough to face rejection and still show love, smart enough to protect someone he cared about, even if he didn't fully understand what he was doing. And I realized something important. Noah wasn't just my son, he was my hero. The days that followed the wedding were quiet, unusually quiet. No group family chats, no phone calls, no pictures posted online, just silence. I didn't reach out to Jeffrey. I figured he needed time, space. He just had his heart ripped out in front of 200 people. And while the truth had set him free, it had also left him shattered. Noah, though, kept asking, "Can we go see Uncle Jeffrey? Does he still like us?" Did I make him sad? I told him the truth. "No, sweetie, you helped him see something he needed to see. That takes courage. He loves you. He just needs a little time to feel better." Noah nodded, but I could tell he didn't fully understand. Honestly, neither did I. Then, one Friday evening, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and there he was, Jeffrey, no suit, no tie, just jeans, sneakers, and a tired face that had aged 5 years and 5 days. "Hey," he said. "Hey, He paused, then looked past me. Is Noah here? Before I could answer, Noah sprinted from the hallway, throwing his arms around his uncle's waist. I missed you, he cried. Jeffrey knelt down and hugged him tight. I missed you more, buddy, so much more. They stayed like that for a while, neither one in a rush to let go. Finally, I invited him inside. He sat at our little kitchen table, the one with a sunflower printed tablecloth Noah had picked out. The air smelled faintly of spaghetti and garlic bread. Comfort food. Safe space. I've been sleeping on Mom and Dad's couch, he said. Vanessa moved out of our condo, took half the furniture and all the wine glasses. I almost laughed, but I didn't. He continued. She admitted the letter, said it was written during a confused time, whatever that means. Turns out there was someone else the whole time, some guy from her dad's company. She was stringing me along until something better came along. I listened without interrupting. Mom's still trying to pretend it was a misunderstanding, he added. But Dad, he won't even talk to her. She's not your fault, Jeffrey. I said. You fell in love. You trusted her. That's not a weakness. I trusted the wrong person, he said quietly. And I ignored the one who always had my back. I looked down at my coffee mug. It was chipped. I hadn't even noticed before. We all want love, I said, even when the red flags are waving like crazy. Sometimes we just hope hard enough that they'll turn green. He smiled weakly. You've always had a way with words, and you've always been the smart one, I said, just not this time. We both laughed, and for the first time in weeks it felt real. After that night, Jeffrey started coming around more often. He'd swing by with takeout or bring donuts on Sunday mornings. He helped Noah with homework, taught him card tricks, and even fixed the broken shelf in our hallway that I'd been meaning to get to for months. It was like getting my brother back piece by piece. And Noah, he was over the moon. One evening, as I was putting Noah to bed, he asked me, Is Uncle Jeffrey going to be okay now? I think so, I said. He just needed some time to remember who he really is. Noah smiled. I think we should be a family forever, just the three of us. I kissed his forehead. Me too. A few weeks later, Jeffrey sat me down with a serious look on his face. I've been thinking, he said, about the future, about what really matters. I waited. I'm taking a break from corporate law, he continued. Not quitting, just stepping back. I've been working like a machine for years. For what? So I could impress people who didn't even care. I nodded. You deserve a life that feels good, not one that just looks good. He smiled. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. You always know how to put it. He looked around my cozy apartment. The mismatched cushions, the sunflower garden outside, the sketchbook Noah had left open on the couch. You built something here, he said. Something real. It's not perfect, I admitted, but it's ours. And I want to be part of it, he said. Really part of it. I looked at him, surprised. You already are. No, he said. I mean, I want to make sure Noah always has me. I want to be the kind of uncle he brags about in school. And I want to be the brother who never forgets what family means. I felt tears in my eyes. You already are that. But now I know it's the only thing that matters, he whispered.
A month after the wedding, we hosted a small backyard dinner. Just the three of us. Some fairy lights, burgers on the grill, and soft music playing from a Bluetooth speaker. Noah danced around with a sunflower tucked behind his ear, pretending he was a famous chef and serving us gourmet hot dogs. Jeffrey grilled like a pro, flipping burgers and teasing Noah about his ketchup obsession. And me, I just sat there watching them, my heart so full it almost hurt, because life had tried to break us, but instead it brought us back together. No dresses, no diamonds, no ballroom speeches, just laughter, truth, and unconditional love. 6 months passed, the seasons changed. Noah turned 9, the sunflower garden grew fuller, brighter, and so did our lives. Jeffrey was healing. He had moved into a small townhouse just 10 minutes from us. Nothing fancy, just a clean, quiet space with warm colors and a cozy fireplace. The kind of home that didn't shout success, but whispered peace. He'd taken up consulting work, only a few cases a month, more time for morning walks, volunteering at a local youth center, and Saturday breakfasts with me and Noah. The man who once spent his life in courtrooms and corner offices now spent his afternoons coaching Little League baseball. He smiled more now, real smiles. One afternoon, Noah came home with a school flyer. Mommy, he said, our school's having a family day, with art booths and food stalls. Can we go? Of course, I smiled. We'll make something fun for the art table. Noah grinned. Uncle Jeffrey, too? Of course, I said again. That weekend, we set up a little booth at the school fair. Noah and Mom's home corner. We brought small handmade frames, mini painted flower pots, and bookmarks with quotes about family and courage. It wasn't about sales, it was about joy, togetherness. People came, talked, asked about my design business. And one woman, an elegant silver-haired lady in a soft blue blazer, stayed longer than the rest. She picked up one of the frames and smiled. Did you make these yourself? Yes, I said. I run a small interior design company from home. Nothing big, just meaningful. She introduced herself as Helen Marston, a retired architect turned real estate consultant. I'm working with a local nonprofit, she said, revamping community spaces in underfunded neighborhoods. We could really use someone with your creativity and heart. I blinked. Are you offering me work? I'm offering you purpose, she smiled. Let's talk. That moment changed everything. Within a month, I signed my first major design contract, not for a mansion, not for a luxury brand, but for a youth center being rebuilt in a struggling part of the city. Every wall I painted, every corner I designed, every couch I placed felt like healing, not just for that space, but for me too. And guess who helped? Jeffrey, of course. He handled the contracts, advised on legal permits, and even negotiated free supplies from some old contacts. We were a team again, stronger, clearer, realer. One evening, after a long day at the site, we sat on the back steps of my apartment, sipping iced tea. The sun was setting. The garden buzzed softly with life. Noah was inside, painting another wild dinosaur on the kitchen table. Jeffrey looked over at me. You know, I used to think life was all about winning, he said. Winning arguments, winning promotions, winning respect. He paused. But now, I think life is really about showing up. Even when it's hard, I added. Even when you feel broken. Especially then, he smiled. There was a long, comfortable silence between us. Then he said something I didn't expect. You know, I think I'd like to settle down someday. For real this time. With someone who sees me. Not my resume. You will, I said. And she'll be lucky to have you. He looked at me differently then. Not like a brother, not like a lawyer, but like someone seeing a person for the first time. I looked away, heart fluttering, unsure of what that meant. We didn't say anything more that night, but something shifted. Quietly, deeply. A few weeks later, Noah had a writing assignment from school. He had to write a paragraph about his hero. He showed it to me before bed. My hero is my Uncle Jeffrey. He was going to marry someone mean, but I helped him see the truth. He didn't get mad, he gave me a hug. That's what real heroes do. They listen, and they come back. I cried. Not sad tears, the kind that come when you realize you made it through. Together. 1 year after the wedding that wasn't. We stood in front of the finished community center. It was bright, warm, filled with laughter. Kids painted on the walls with volunteers. Single moms drank coffee while their toddlers played safely nearby. Teenagers played music in a donated recording studio. And in one hallway hung a drawing, framed in gold. Noah's family drawing, the one Vanessa threw away. I'd kept it all this time, and now it hung where it belonged. A symbol of truth, of love, of starting over. As we walked out into the summer sunshine, Noah ran ahead, chasing butterflies. Jeffrey fell into step beside me. You ever think, he said, how close we came to losing all this? Every day, I said. He paused. I'm glad we didn't. Me too. He took my hand gently, and I let him. Because sometimes the most beautiful beginnings start with a wedding that never should have happened. And sometimes the people who are always there, the ones who stay when everyone else walks away, are the ones you were meant to find all along.